Madame Ryu Sunhee blocked Asha Monroe beside the glass jewelry case while 40 guests watched. Her narrow eyes moved over Asha's rich umber-brown skin. Those jewels have rested against the women of this family for generations. They were not made for someone as dark as you. Before Asha could answer, Ryu Taesung left the head table, unlocked the case, and fastened the black diamond necklace around her neck. Asha's throat tightened, but she kept her chin level. The ballroom had expected her humiliation. Instead, its most powerful man had chosen her in front of everyone. The clasp closed with a sharp, metallic click. Taesung's fingers remained near Asha's nape for one dangerous second, steady and warm against the sudden cold crawling across her skin. Nobody laughed now. Sunhee's face emptied of color. Taesung looked past Asha toward his mother, calm enough to make the entire ballroom nervous. They were waiting for her. Asha turned toward him, but his eyes had already dropped to the necklace, as though he expected it to answer. It did. The chandeliers flickered once, then twice. Every phone screen in the ballroom went black at the same time. The double doors sealed with a heavy electronic thud, and frightened conversation cracked across the room. Sunhee ordered Asha to remove the necklace. Taesung placed 2 fingers over the clasp before Asha could touch it. No one takes it off. Across the ballroom, Elena Cho rose from her chair and whispered, "It was never supposed to open." The presentation screen behind the head table lit without warning. An old photograph filled it. Asha saw her mother, Nadia Monroe, younger and smiling, standing shoulder to shoulder with Sunhee. They were holding the same black diamond necklace between them. Asha forgot how to breathe for half a second. She had never seen the picture. "That was taken in the old conservation wing," Sunhee snapped. Then her mouth tightened. Nobody had mentioned where the photograph had been taken. The screen died before Asha could move closer. Sunhee accused her of arranging the display, repeating the same theft her mother had supposedly committed 18 years earlier. Asha opened her black satin clutch and removed the conservator's lens Nadia had left her. She lifted it to the clasp. Beneath the gold hinge sat 3 interlocking crescent marks, tiny but unmistakable. Her mother's private signature. The jewels Sunhee claimed were too precious for Asha's skin had passed through Nadia's hands. Before Asha discovers why Taesung knew that Mark would be there, subscribe to Afro Korean Soulmates TV. Every subscription tells us that the care poured into these premium stories is reaching the people who enjoy them, and it helps us keep creating more stories like this. Asha lowered the lens and found Taesung watching her reaction instead of the necklace. That frightened her more than the locked doors. The security system suddenly released, and the ballroom erupted as guests rushed for the exits. Ryu Sora brushed past Asha in the side corridor and slipped a folded card into her clutch. She never slowed down. When Asha opened it, 5 words waited in neat black ink. "Trust no one who knew Nadia." Taesung entered the corridor before Asha could follow Sora. Park Doyen remained near the ballroom doors while Taesung stopped an arm's length from her. Asha held up the warning. "Does this include you?" His jaw tightened, but he did not pretend confusion. He admitted arranging her invitation. He also warned that removing the necklace before its hidden mechanism completed its cycle could destroy the only surviving proof capable of clearing Nadia's name. Asha's pulse struck hard against her throat. "How could you possibly know that?" Asha demanded. Taesung glanced toward the ballroom, where Sunhee stood beyond the doorway, pretending not to watch them. When his attention returned to Asha, something colder had entered his eyes. "Because your mother tried to warn mine." The corridor seemed to narrow around her. Nadia had not merely repaired the Ryu jewels, she had known the family closely enough to fear what they were becoming, and Taesung had invited Asha into the same house without telling her why. Taesung led Asha into the private conservatory, where the city glittered beyond walls of glass. He offered her access to every sealed record connected to Nadia's accusation. In return, he wanted Asha to examine the necklace and identify whatever her mother had hidden inside it. Someone had been moving control of the Ryu companies into private trusts, and he believed the same person had destroyed Nadia's name. Asha listened without sitting. The warm glass room suddenly felt like another trap. "I will help you find the truth," Asha said, "but I will not become your obedient guest, your public ornament, or a woman you move around like property." Taesung accepted every condition without argument. That should have reassured her. Instead, it made her wonder how badly he needed her. When she asked whether he had known the necklace would open, his answer came too smoothly. "I knew it might recognize you. I did not know what it would do." His restraint looked practiced, which made it harder to trust. Elena found Asha alone in the dressing salon and closed the door behind her. Her expression looked cold enough to cut glass. She demanded to know whether Asha intended to keep Taesung as easily as she had kept the necklace. Asha refused to retreat. Then Elena stepped close, caught Asha's clutch before it slipped, and pressed a tiny brass key beneath its clasp, where the cameras could not see. The key felt unusually warm against Asha's trembling fingers. "Do not thank me," Elena murmured. "I may still regret this." Her gaze shifted toward the ceiling camera. She continued speaking like a jealous rival, while her fingers tapped twice against the hidden key. Asha understood the performance and played along, telling Elena that Taesung was not a prize either of them could claim. Elena's mouth almost curved. Then she whispered that Sunhee had forced her to rehearse the inheritance ceremony in this room. For the first time, rivalry looked like careful protection. The necklace used in Elena's rehearsal had looked identical, down to the black stones and gold clasp. It had remained lifeless against her throat. Sunhee had ordered 3 more women to try it afterward, each from a family she considered acceptable. Nothing happened. Elena finally met Asha's eyes. She was never searching for the woman who looked best in those jewels. She was searching for the woman they would recognize. The answer placed Asha at the center of Sunhee's fear. If you are still watching, tell us where you are watching from and what time it is there. Then drop one emoji showing whether Asha should trust Taesung after learning that Sunhee had been waiting for someone exactly like her. The answer may seem obvious now, but the next person who appears loyal will make that choice far more dangerous. Every choice now carried consequences none of them understood. The family portrait was arranged before Asha could question Elena further. Sunhee placed every relative beneath the studio lights and left Asha outside the marked platform. The photographer lowered his camera, uncertain whether to obey. Taesung looked from the empty place beside his mother to Asha standing alone near the curtain. Then he stepped out of the family formation and crossed the polished floor toward her. Asha remained still, refusing to rescue the family from discomfort. The room reacted before Sunhee did. A few relatives whispered. Choi's smile tightened. Taesung stopped beside Asha and faced the photographer as though the new arrangement had always been intended. Sunhee ordered him back to his place. He answered without raising his voice. "Take the portrait without me then." The photographer's finger remained suspended over the shutter while the family realized its official heir had just made Asha impossible to exclude. Sunhee's composure cracked only around the corners of her mouth. Sunhee allowed Asha onto the platform, but placed her at the far edge behind 2 distant relatives. Taesung moved again. He guided Asha to the space beside him, his hand hovering near her back without claiming it. The camera flashed. Asha should have felt victorious. Instead, she watched Taesung's calm profile and wondered how he had predicted every move his mother made before she made it. The victory felt staged by someone who knew the script. Inside the archive room, Asha spread the accusation records beneath a brass reading lamp. The paper looked aged, but its fibers were too uniform. She tested an edge with her lens and found a chemical brightener that had not existed when Nadia supposedly signed the confession. Taesung leaned over the table without touching the page. The document condemning Asha's mother had been manufactured years after the accusation. The discovery turned suspicion into evidence she could finally prove. A second file contained Nadia's death certificate. Asha studied the registration line until the numbers blurred beneath her lens. 1 digit had been scraped away and replaced with another. The seal was genuine, but the record attached to it was not. Hope struck so suddenly that it hurt. If the certificate had been altered, then Nadia's death might have been another story the Ryu family needed Asha to believe. She forced herself to photograph the hope before believing it. Choi entered before Asha could show Taesung the changed number. He dismissed the new paper as an administrative replacement and explained that old records were often recopied for preservation. Asha asked why a copied confession carried an original signature. Choi's polite expression did not move, but one finger pressed hard against his gold cufflink. Taesung ordered him to locate every original page before morning. Choi bowed, then looked directly at Asha's clutch. That single glance told Asha the clutch had become dangerous. While Taesung questioned Choi near the locked drawers, Asha angled her phone above the death certificate. She saved an image of the altered registration line and scratched seal inside a private folder and told nobody, not even Taesung. Sora's warning had followed her into the archive. Trust no one who knew Nadia. Taesung had known enough to bring Asha here, and Choi had known exactly which files she would inspect. Keeping one secret from Taesung felt like recovering her balance. Maya arrived at Asha's guest suite the following afternoon carrying coffee and the kind of concern Asha had missed since entering the estate. For 10 minutes, she made the room feel normal again. Then Asha's phone rang with Taesung's name. While Asha turned toward the window to answer, Maya's own screen lit with an anonymous warning. The evidence in Asha's possession would be replaced before morning. Maya's expression changed so briefly that Asha never noticed. Maya hid the message before Asha turned back. She asked where the archive photographs were stored, keeping her tone casual. Asha pointed toward the writing desk and explained that copies were inside a sealed envelope beneath the black jewelry case. Maya nodded, but her smile arrived half a second late. Asha noticed. She also hated herself for noticing, because Maya had been the one person she trusted before the Ryu family taught her to doubt everyone. Their friendship now carried a question neither woman had spoken. At dinner, Sunhee assigned Asha a chair near the serving entrance, far from the family's principal seats. Every place card had been arranged with mathematical cruelty. Asha walked toward the isolated chair before anyone could enjoy watching her refuse it. Across the table, Taesung studied the seating plan. Then he lifted his plate, glass, and folded napkin, and carried them past his mother without asking permission. Sunhee watched him move, and something close to panic surfaced. Taesung placed his setting beside Asha's chair and sat down. The movement was so simple that it embarrassed Sunhee more than an argument could have. Relatives avoided one another's eyes. Elena hid a smile behind her glass. Asha lowered herself into the chair, painfully aware of Taesung's shoulder near hers. "Do you rehearse these rescues?" she asked quietly. "You always arrive before the humiliation has time to finish." His answer came quietly enough to belong only to her. "Calculation is the only language my family respects." Asha asked whether that made her another calculation. He looked at her long enough for the surrounding conversation to fade. "Standing beside you is the first decision I have made in years that required none." Her heart gave one hard, disobedient thump. She wanted to believe him, which was precisely why his answer frightened her. The room kept moving, while Asha's certainty stood completely still. Later, inside the conservation room, Asha fitted Elena's brass key into the necklace's hidden hinge. Taesung stood on the opposite side of the work table, his hands visible and still. Asha turned the key. The clasp opened with a soft snap, exposing a chamber no wider than her smallest fingernail. Inside rested a microscopic storage device and one broken half of an embossed gold seal. For once, Taesung looked less prepared than Asha expected. Asha lifted the storage device with precision tweezers and placed it beneath the magnifying lamp. The broken seal carried the same 3 crescents as Nadia's maker's mark, but a second symbol had been cut through its center. Taesung recognized it as the original emblem of the Ryu voting trust. His response came too quickly. Asha raised her eyes. "You have seen this before." He answered, "Only in legal drawings." His knowledge landed between them like another hidden document. The device opened a damaged document on the conservation monitor. Most lines were encrypted, but one clause remained visible. When the ancestral necklace accepted a verified successor during a formal family proceeding, temporary voting authority transferred to the wearer. Asha read it twice. The necklace was not merely jewelry, it was a key to the legal structure beneath the Ryu Empire, and Sunhee had spent years searching for the person who could activate it. The discovery made Asha both valuable and dangerously replaceable. Taesung explained the clause before Asha finished reading it, defining its limits and likely enforcement. She slowly removed her hands from the keyboard. "For a man who did not know what the necklace would do, you understand its consequences very well." His face remained controlled, but his silence lasted too long. He finally claimed that every Ryu heir studied the old trust. Asha closed the file and kept the storage device near her. His explanation sounded correct, polished, and carefully incomplete. When Asha returned to her suite, the sealed envelope beneath the jewelry case was gone. So were the private copies on her backup drive. Nothing else had been disturbed. The desk drawers remained aligned, and the door showed no damage. Someone had entered using authorized access and taken only the evidence connected to Nadia. Asha called Maya. The call rang until it disconnected. The missing envelope left a clean rectangle in the dust. Doyun brought Asha and Taesung to the security room. Footage showed Maya entering the suite while Asha was at dinner. The camera captured Maya removing the envelope from beneath the jewelry case and placing it inside her tote. She looked over her shoulder twice before leaving. Asha stared at the screen until Maya's familiar face no longer felt familiar. The timestamp showed Maya had stayed inside 7 full minutes. A second record showed a large transfer into an inactive account linked to Maya's former business. The payment arrived less than an hour before she entered the suite. Taesung advised Asha to remain inside the estate until Doyun found her. Asha heard the protection in his voice and resented needing it. Maya knew what clearing Nadia's name meant. She also knew exactly where Asha had hidden the proof. Every detail seemed designed to close the case too quickly. On Taesung's penthouse terrace, the Seoul night stretched below them like another world. Asha admitted that Maya had been beside her through every failed appeal and every anniversary of Nadia's supposed death. Betrayal from Sunhee would have been expected. Betrayal from Maya made the floor beneath Asha's life feel unreliable. Taesung did not defend Maya, and he did not tell Asha to stop caring. She hated how easily his patience lowered her defenses. He told Asha that Sunhee had selected his education, his public friendships, and even the woman he was expected to marry. Affection in his family always arrived with conditions hidden beneath it. Asha's hand rested on the stone table between them. Taesung placed his palm over it slowly enough for her to pull away. She did not. For one quiet moment, she let the most dangerous man in the room feel like the safest. The contact was gentle, but its meaning was anything but. While Taesung took a call inside, Asha noticed a black dossier on his study desk. Her name appeared on the first page. Inside were employment records, photographs, travel details, and notes about her work as a conservator. The newest pages could be explained by his recent investigation. One photograph could not. It showed Asha leaving a restoration conference nearly 2 years earlier. Someone had been watching her long before she entered Seoul. Taesung entered before she reached the date printed on the back. He admitted researching her after discovering Nadia's mark in the family archive, but claimed the search began only several months ago. Asha held up the older photograph. His eyes shifted toward it once, then toward her. Before he answered, his phone rang. Sunhee had moved the succession meeting forward and ordered every trustee to return to the estate immediately. The unanswered date followed them all the way downstairs. Back at the estate library, Elena and Sora waited beside several sealed document boxes. Sora admitted sending Maya the anonymous warning. She had discovered Choi ordering modern archive paper, replica seals, and preservation chemicals under Sunhee's authority. Elena produced invoices copied from Choi's private files. The materials matched the forged confession Asha examined. Maya had not been paid to steal the evidence. Someone had been preparing to replace it. Asha realized the trap around Maya had been professionally built. Sora showed Asha the security access history from the archive. Choi's credentials had opened the flat file drawers 6 times after midnight, always on evenings when Sunhee remained at the estate. Elena explained that the payment into Maya's account came from a shell company already connected to Choi. The betrayal had been built to look perfect. Asha's relief came tangled with guilt. Maya had risked their friendship because she believed Asha would confront the family too soon. Guilt tightened beneath Asha's ribs as the pattern became clear. Maya emerged from the shadowed end of the closed jewelry gallery, carrying the missing envelope against her chest. Asha crossed the space but stopped before embracing her. Maya understood the hesitation. She opened the envelope and placed the original pages beneath the gallery light. "I could not tell you," she said. "They were watching every call. I needed them to believe I had taken the evidence for myself." Trust did not return simply because Maya had returned. The documents were intact. Maya had also recovered the backup drive after copying its contents onto a clean device. She explained that the account payment was fabricated through a business she had closed years earlier. Doyen confirmed that the transfer had already been reversed through 3 shell accounts. Asha finally pulled Maya into her arms. The relief lasted only until Maya placed the necklace's recovered audio file on the table. Maya's hands shook only when she mentioned the recording. Sunhee's recorded voice filled the empty gallery. She told Choi that Asha must never learn the heir had already found her. The recording ended before Choi answered. Asha looked toward Taesung. He remained near the locked doors, too still to read. Maya's innocence repaired one fracture and opened another. The heir could only mean Taesung, and Sunhee had spoken as though his search for Asha began long before the gala. Taesung's stillness became the loudest answer inside the gallery. In the boardroom, Asha placed the original records before Choi and explained every modern fiber, false seal, and altered registration number. Choi tried to dismiss Maya's copies until Elena presented his invoices and Sora produced the access history. Taesung ordered the trustees to suspend Choi from the succession process. No guards touched him. The room simply withdrew its authority from him, one silent face at a time. Choi's authority vanished without a threat, touch, or raised voice. Sunhee admitted authorizing the replacement records. She claimed Nadia had attempted to seize the trust by manipulating the necklace and that the family needed protection from a fraudulent bloodline claim. Asha asked why an innocent family required forged evidence. Sunhee's expression hardened, because truth is useless when it destroys everything you built. For the first time, her cruelty sounded less like confidence and more like terror. Fear had been hiding beneath Sunhee's elegance all along. Choi gathered his files before leaving the boardroom. At the door, he turned toward Asha. "Ask Taesung when he first learned your name," he said. "Then ask how long he has known the trust's true beneficiary." Taesung did not order him to remain. He did not deny the accusation. Asha watched Choi disappear and understood that every answer she had won had been protecting a larger question. The larger betrayal now had Taesung's face attached to it. Asha confronted Taesung on the empty ballroom balcony. The chandeliers glowed below them, turning the place where he defended her into a beautiful lie. She demanded to know when he found her. Taesung admitted arranging the gala invitation because Nadia's bloodline might activate the necklace. He had needed proof before challenging Sunhee. Asha asked whether fastening it around her neck had been part of that test. The city below looked distant enough to belong to strangers. "Yes," Taesung said. The honesty hurt more than another evasion. He insisted that he had not known the mechanism would transfer voting authority, only that it might reveal the legitimate successor. Asha asked whether his public defense had also been planned. Taesung stepped closer but left space between them. "The necklace was planned. Refusing to let my mother humiliate you was not." For once, his honesty offered no protection from the truth. Asha wanted the distinction to matter. She hated that it did. "Half a truth can still be a complete betrayal," she told him. Taesung accepted the accusation without reaching for her. He offered no excuse for bringing her into a room where everyone knew more about Nadia than she did. When Asha turned away, he opened the balcony door and told Doyeon to give her unrestricted access to his private records. The open door felt less like freedom than another test. In Taesung's study, every locked drawer opened for Asha. She found the strategy files, financial maps, and copies of Nadia's restoration notes. Nothing directly proved that Taesung knew Nadia was alive. He admitted that his first reason for finding Asha had been strategic. Then his voice lowered. "My reasons changed after you walked into that ballroom." Asha asked when. "Before I fastened the clasp," he answered. The admission was tender, but tenderness could also manipulate. Asha did not forgive him. She also did not step away when he approached. Their foreheads touched briefly, his breath warm against her skin, both of them motionless inside the question neither trusted enough to ask. There was no kiss and no promise, only the dangerous possibility that something real had grown inside a plan built on deception. Sora's urgent call ended the moment before either could mistake it for absolution. Asha stepped back first, keeping the choice entirely her own. Inside the private trust office, Sora displayed the newly decrypted clause. If the necklace activated during a formal succession meeting, its recognized wearer controlled the voting trust until midnight. Before that deadline, the wearer could transfer control or retain it permanently. Sunhee had moved the succession meeting to 11:30 that night. Asha looked at the brass clock. The family had not gathered to confirm Taesung, they had gathered to force Asha's decision. The brass clock suddenly sounded louder than every person present. The succession chamber filled with trustees before midnight. Sunhee placed a signed confession on the central table and declared that Nadia had inserted a fraudulent mechanism into the necklace. According to the document, Asha's mother had planned to steal the Ryu trust through any future daughter. The accusation struck the room exactly as Sunhee intended. Even trustees who doubted her stared at Asha as though inheritance itself had become evidence of guilt. Sunhee had transformed Asha's birthright into another public accusation. Asha opened her conservator's case and tested the confession beneath a focused lamp. The paper contained the same modern brightener found in the archive copies. A faint restoration chemical marked the signature line, proving Nadia's name had been transferred from another document. Asha explained each result without raising her voice. One trustee requested the original. Sunhee could not produce it. Doubt moved around the circular table like a current. The forged confession began collapsing under calm, measurable facts. Sunhee gave Taesung one final choice: remove the necklace from Asha and remain heir, or defend her and lose every vote attached to his name. Asha turned toward him before pride could make the decision for them. Do not sacrifice your future to prove something to me. Taesung looked at the loosened clasp resting against her nape. Then he walked behind her while the entire chamber held still. His answer arrived through movement before he spoke a word. Taesung fastened the necklace again, his fingers closing the clasp firmly against Asha's nape. "This is not a sacrifice," he said. "It is a correction." The mechanism answered with a deeper click than before. Asha felt a small object release beneath the stones. Taesung's hand moved away, but his gaze remained on her, not the trustees. Sunhee rose so quickly that her chair scraped across the marble. The correction seemed aimed at 18 years of concealed truth. The missing half of the gold seal dropped from the necklace onto the polished table. It spun once and joined the piece recovered from the hidden compartment. The two halves locked together without pressure. A ring of light moved across the chamber's voting screens. Asha's name replaced Sunhee's at every trustee position. The woman declared too dark to wear the family jewels now controlled the legal structure beneath their empire. Even the trustees leaned closer as the seal completed itself. Nobody spoke. Sunhee stared at the screens as though they had betrayed her personally. Elena's eyes filled with shocked relief. Sora covered her mouth. Taesung remained beside Asha, unreadable. The trust system requested confirmation from its recognized wearer. Asha placed her hand above the reader but did not touch it. Victory had arrived carrying a question. Had Taesung protected her, or had he delivered the empire exactly where he intended? The silence around Asha felt heavier than Sunhee's earlier insult. The succession chamber doors opened before Asha could confirm anything. Nadia Monroe entered wearing the matching black diamond earrings. Silver ran through her braided crown, and 18 missing years lived in the restraint of her face. Asha recognized her before reason could object. The room blurred around the woman she had mourned, defended, and spoken to in private whenever grief became too heavy. Asha's knees weakened, but she refused to look away. Nadia did not rush toward her daughter. Her gaze went first to the necklace, then to Taesung. "Take it off, Asha." Asha's voice barely survived the distance between them. "You're alive?" Nadia's eyes shone, but she did not look away from Taesung. "Yes." The answer should have healed something. Instead, Nadia added 4 words that split the room open. "And he has known." Taesung's expression changed, confirming Nadia before he spoke. Nadia placed a small audio recorder on the central table and pressed play. Taesung's recorded voice filled the chamber. He was speaking several days before the gala. "Once Asha wears the necklace, the trust becomes hers. By the time she learns what happened, she will trust me enough to transfer it." The recording ended. Taesung did not deny the voice. The words made Asha's recent trust feel deliberately harvested. Asha looked at the man who had held her hand while she grieved Maya's betrayal. Nadia revealed that Taesung had met her secretly before the gala and promised to bring Asha into the estate. The invitation, the necklace, and the public choosing had begun inside a strategy. Taesung's feelings might have changed, but the trap had existed first. Every tender moment now carried the outline of a decision he made without her. Love and strategy had become impossible to separate cleanly. The chamber clock showed 3 minutes before midnight. Nadia placed a second document beside Taesung's transfer form. It proved he knew she was alive while allowing Asha to keep mourning her. If Asha signed Taesung's form, control returned to him. If she signed Nadia's, the trust remained hers and the Ryu family lost its claim permanently. Taesung pushed neither page closer. Nadia pushed hers exactly 1 inch. Both choices demanded faith in someone who had deceived her. "Why would both of you lie to me?" Asha asked. Nadia answered first. "Because one of us needed you to inherit the empire." Taesung's jaw tightened. "And the other needed you to destroy it." Asha looked between them. "Which one of you wanted what?" Neither answered. The clock changed to 11:58. Her hand hovered between the documents while the necklace pressed cold against her throat. Nobody moved to save her from making the choice. Comment Part 2 if you need to know whether Asha gives the empire to Taesung, keeps it for herself, or destroys the legacy that ruined her family.